When it comes to weight and health, calories alone are not the full picture. One of the major issues at play is the impact of sugar. Research has shown that high sugar intake has serious implications for public health. For example, just one sugary beverage a day can increase the risk of diabetes by nearly 30%. Beyond diabetes, excessive sugar consumption has been linked to cognitive decline, mental health issues, and even early mortality. One of the major challenges with sugar is its addictive quality. Studies indicate that about 73% of the products in grocery stores contain added sugar, which is often included to drive sales. Foods labeled as healthy often contain more sugar than expected, which makes it important for consumers to look closely at ingredient labels. For those wondering how to make healthier choices, here's a simple guideline. Food can be either beneficial or harmful. The key is understanding which is which. The term hacking is often used to describe how our perceptions of food have been influenced. This concept suggests that, in some ways, our preferences have been shaped to favor foods that bring immediate pleasure but may harm long-term well-being. This brings us to an important distinction: the difference between pleasure and happiness. Pleasure is typically short-lived and felt physically. Happiness, on the other hand, tends to be longer-lasting and more mentally fulfilling. While pleasure can be achieved alone, happiness often requires social interactions and personal growth. Neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin are involved in these experiences. Dopamine is linked to reward and can lead to addiction when released in excess, while serotonin is associated with long-term satisfaction and doesn't lead to addiction. This difference explains why certain behaviors like gambling or social media use can become addictive, as they rely on dopamine. Conversely, experiences tied to serotonin do not have the same addictive qualities, meaning there's no too much happiness. In society, we often confuse these pathways. Many sources of immediate pleasure, including sugary foods, exploit the dopamine pathway, leading to repeated use and sometimes addiction. This pursuit of pleasure, however, can reduce overall happiness by diminishing serotonin levels. Food choices, especially the consumption of sugar, play a central role in this cycle. Added sugars are everywhere and often appear as hidden ingredients in processed foods. This prevalence contributes to various health issues and fuels the body's dependency on quick sources of pleasure. In terms of health risks, sugar is often compared to substances like alcohol. In moderation, the body can process both, but in high amounts they can lead to damage. The sugar molecule fructose is particularly significant here, as it's metabolized in the body similarly to alcohol, putting stress on the liver and leading to potential health issues. One notable comparison is between glucose and fructose, both components of table sugar. While glucose is the body's primary energy source and can be produced internally if necessary, fructose has a more complex role. When consumed in excess, fructose can contribute to metabolic conditions and other health risks. To further understand this, it helps to look at populations that consume minimal carbohydrates like certain Arctic communities. Even without direct carbohydrate intake, the body maintains glucose levels because glucose is essential for brain function. In the modern food environment, sugar is added to foods frequently, often for stability and shelf life. Historically, ingredients like trans fats were added for similar reasons until their harmful effects were acknowledged and regulations restricted their use. Understanding these food additives and the ways they impact health can empower consumers to make better choices. Awareness of how certain foods and ingredients interact with the body, particularly how they affect dopamine and serotonin levels, is crucial for long-term well-being. By focusing on nutrient-dense, whole foods and minimizing sugar intake, individuals can support not only physical health but also mental and emotional well-being.